ball to a wide open Dorsett. Touchdown, Patriots!
Throws it up the middle, intercepted. Picked off by Pepper. And Buff. Touchdown, Giants. Jabril Peppers.
Into the hands of Collins, who runs down the right sideline. Touchdown, Patriots!
He's going to run. Goes to the 5. Touchdown, Giants.
Throws to the back of the end zone, wide open. Touchdown, Patriots!
Fall football weather has foisted itself upon Foxborough for tonight's production. The Pats' pursuit of perfection continues as they play the Giants on Thursday Night Football tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network, Fox, and Prime Video. It's a fine football Thursday. Thanks for taking time to spend a few minutes with us here on NFL Now. I'm Matt Money Smith, searching for a modicum of motivation. So let's just say we are determined to deal out a dish of league news delicacies over the next couple of hours. More on that a little bit later. The NFL's International Series has landed in London for a second week. The Panthers and Bucks will battle it out in Great Britain, and our Tiffany Blackman will bring us the bants on the upcoming brawl. And he might be an average Joe on this side of the Atlantic, but in London, he's a legend. Greg Rosenthal will roll up with a round of Week 6 selections to suck back with a mug of suds. But before all of that, we have football. So we head to Foxborough, where our Mike Giardi is fending off frostbite, it looks like, to deliver the latest on the Giants and Pats. What is the deal with the weather? I mean, I guess it's cold out there, huh?
It's cold and it's windy and it's supposed to be rainy, although we've been pretty dry to this point, but chance of rain about 50% for kickoff. Heavy winds, 20 miles an hour sustained, gusts of up to 40 miles per hour. It's going to make this surface a little bit slick. And then you look at what the Giants are dealing with as they come into this. They're without their top two running backs. Saquon Barkley, who's probably the best running back in the league, he's out. Wayne Gallman, their backup, out as well. Also minus Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. So that means what? Well, it's going to be heavy on the rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones, tonight. And one of the things that I've gathered from talking to Giants players this week is just how cool this kid is. I was talking to Nate Solder earlier, and he said just his demeanor, his overall, the way he interacts with players in the huddle, on the sideline, defensive guys, it really works for everyone. Solder also mentioned the fact that he works hard. He's at it night and day trying to get better. I thought the other thing was interesting was Jabril Peppers, who got to practice against him quite a bit during the course of the summer, said, he's exceeded my expectations for him, and I thought he was going to be pretty good. So the Giants feel like they're in a good spot with Daniel Jones tonight.
Yeah, and we always hear it really about any team. You want to take away the opponent's number one weapon, but we especially hear it with Bill Belichick. Does that mean Daniel Jones? What is the Patriots' defensive game plan for Daniel Jones tonight?
Daniel Jones better be ready for an exceeding amount of different looks and for pressure, and that's something that he hasn't dealt with very well, at least in the early portion of his career. In fact, down the bottom when facing blitzes across the league with numbers-wise. So that's something to be concerned about. And look, we know the Patriots have the ability to morph and do different things, especially with those linebackers who can basically line up anywhere and do anything. So they've done a very nice job through 5 weeks of confusing quarterbacks, and now Daniel Jones, just 4 starts in, is going to have to take a look at that and diagnose it.
All right, Mike, thanks for the information, but more for the first appearance of a puffy jacket on NFL Now this season. There we go. Stay warm. Giants, Patriots, Thursday Night Football tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network, Fox, and Prime Video. That brings us to what's new right now, and what's new right now is a quad concern for the centerpiece of the Rams ground game. Todd Gurley did not practice Wednesday, so let's lean on our NFL insider, Ian Rappaport, for the latest. Ian, what is the latest on Todd Gurley and that injury?
Well, my understanding is Todd Gurley's status for Sunday is very much up in the air right now, and there's some disconcerting things here going on with Gurley and his quad. Not saying it's a major injury, but at least it's something to monitor. The reason is because the Rams played on Thursday, so this is something where the team, and Steve Weiss did a great job of detailing this last night, the team really thought this was kind of a minor injury. Then Gurley showed up earlier this week, and the quad thing was still going on, still bothering him, did not practice yesterday. And when they talked publicly, including Sean McVay, he essentially said they need to make sure that running backs like Malcolm Brown and the rest of their stable are ready, guys they need to kind of get ready in case they need to go. That does not sound like a team that is essentially saying, yeah, Todd Gurley's going to be fine and playing. They are preparing as if he doesn't go.
And it's not just Gurley we're hearing, Ian. Also perhaps riding the pine, or I guess the steal in the world of the NFL is what it would be, is Aqib Talib. What's happening there?
Yeah, I don't think there are any wooden benches really anymore, although I certainly do appreciate the sentiment. Sounds like Aqib Talib's rib injury, something that occurred on Thursday night as well, is much more minor than Todd Gurley's. No one I talked to believes this is a serious situation. Obviously, it's something they're going to monitor, but for a corner, a rib injury is not something that is expected to be too significant. So at this point, the thought is that Aqib Talib is going to be okay for Sunday.
All right, let's stay in the secondary, but shift down to Duval County. Jalen Ramsey practiced yesterday, but he was listed as limited with his back ailment. Do we know a Sunday status against the Saints?
We do not know a Sunday status yet. As far as his practice, my understanding is it was very limited, did just individual drills. His first practice since injuring his back and kind of battling that amid a trade request that the team is not going to honor. But we did get a little words and a little inclination as far as which way things are going potentially, and everything is cautious here. No one speaks in declarative sentences in the Jalen Ramsey situation, but owner Shad Khan did speak to The Street, which is a Wall Street-based outlet, I guess, essentially saying two things. One, that he had a face-to-face, heart-to-heart meeting with Jalen Ramsey. That was earlier in the week, likely after Ramsey came back from seeing the back specialist. And Khan believes that Ramsey is going to play on Sunday. I've not had that confirmed by anyone else. We will see his status, but at the very least, that is what owner Shad Khan believes.
All right, appreciated, Ian. Certainly more to come in the world of breaking news.
Yeah.
Cousins, back to pass, fires to the end zone, and it's caught by Thielen. Yes! Touchdown, Adam Thielen! A 9-yard touchdown, his second today.
And it's great to see the Cousins-Thielen connection gel again.
Let's ease our way up to Eagan, Minnesota, where our Tom Pelissero is posted out preparing for that Eagles visit against the Vikings. Oh, what a difference a week can make, right, Tom? It seems like the wide receiver's a little bit more happy as it sits today.
We often say that winning cures all. That's not actually true in the NFL. There's still underlying problems, but when you go on the road, get a big victory like the Vikings did a week ago against the Giants, that probably pushes some of that stuff down. And everything that I've been told and speaking to a variety of people around the building is Stephon Diggs has been really good. He's practicing like normal. He's been good behind the scenes, even though he didn't get the ball a whole lot last week. The Vikings come out with a victory. They did throw it more and more effectively against the Giants than they have to this point in the season. You would think this week against that beat-up Eagles secondary that maybe this is a week that we see the ball go to Diggs a little bit more than it has this season as well. Of course, this is another opportunity for Kirk Cousins to shed one of the labels on him, which is he can't beat teams with winning records. That record is now 9-21-1 for Cousins when he faces teams that going into a game have winning records. The Eagles at this point are 3-2. It was interesting, Cousins even acknowledged on his radio show this week that he had a little bit more fire and edge to him going into that game against the Giants after hearing all week coming off the loss at Chicago about how bad he played, about the throws that he missed. Well, Coach Mike Zimmer was asked about that yesterday. He said he doesn't really know if that's true that Cousins reacts that way. If I knew it was, Zimmer said, I'd tick him off myself.
So let's stick with that wide receiver position you spoke of with Diggs and Thielen. Go to the other sideline, though, and Deshaun Jackson. And when he might be back for this Eagles team, certainly needed.
The Eagles have not formally ruled out Deshaun Jackson for this week's game, but I am told the expectation is Jackson will not play against the Vikings. He is getting close, though. Potentially could be back the following week when the Eagles have a big game against the Cowboys. The Eagles offense, not quite the same without Deshaun Jackson. Even at his age, he still has that flamethrower speed. He brings a vertical element. Safety Anthony Harris of the Vikings told me they're still preparing in practice as if Deshaun might play, even though they know, and I'm telling you, that he's not actually going to be on the field. Carson Wentz put up the best numbers of his career back in week 1. Since that point, Jackson gets hurt in week 2. They've certainly had to adjust. As far as the Vikings and their health, it's a pretty healthy football team right now. A couple of starters who are on the injury report and did not practice yesterday. Linebacker Ben Gedeon in the concussion protocol, and guard Josh Klein has a foot injury. We'll see what either of those guys is able to do when the Vikings are back on the field in less than an hour here in Eagan.
All right, certainly going to check back in with you a little bit later. Thank you, Tom. As good a backdrop, to use television parlance, as we could conceivably conjure up. Up next, more on McCaffrey's MVP start, the Bucs and Panthers tilt at Tottenham Stadium.
And off.